Maybe, and didn't sit down.
Y'all,
Y'all be quick.
y'all, I'm gonna share this with you. She stopped us in the hall. That's pretty good, Natasha. You can go fool around and you're gonna fool around and impress me.
I'll make a motion, we come back from executive session to regular session.
Motion made that we come back to the regular session, seconded by Mr. Ramey. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've made a little business solution to a problem, and Mr. Eric's gonna tell you about it.
Make a motion that we take and adopt a resolution as presented to the council by the attorney concerning the property owned by Mr. Wayne Hall over the end of the airport.
Resolution of the City Council of the City of
Wait a minute,
Hazelhurst.
let's get a second that we
Okay.
adopt the resolution.
Second.
My fault.
Motion made and seconded that we adopt the resolution. Madam Attorney, present the resolution.
Resolution of the City Council of the City of Hazelhurst, Georgia, establishing just compensation offered to purchase for trees that penetrate the flight safety zone that is required by the FAA in relation to the end of the runway of the Hazelhurst Airport and located on that certain piece of property located on Hawthorne Road and identified as map and parcel number 0040010D. Whereas the City of Hazelhurst, Georgia has determined that trees located on real property identified as map and parcel 0040010D encroach upon the flight safety zone of the Hazelhurst Airport, with said trees being more particularly described on Exhibit A, which is attached hereto and incorporated by reference herein. Whereas despite repeated attempts by the City of Hazelhurst, the landowner has refused to allow the city to remove said encroachments from the flight safety zone. And whereas the City Council of the City of Hazelhurst has been notified by the FAA that these encroachments must be cleared, or the city will risk having its federal funding for airport improvements extremely limited or possibly eliminated entirely. And whereas an independent professional appraisal of the subject trees has been obtained by the city showing a value of the property of the subject trees to be $1,000.74. And whereas the city recognizes the economic and expeditious benefit of its remedying the encroachment by purchase rather than by condemnation. And whereas the city desires to make an official written offer to the owner to purchase the subject trees in an amount in excess of its fair market value as an incentive for the owner to sell the subject trees to the city rather than making the city pursue its acquisition through condemnation. Whereas the City of Hazelhurst desires to establish a deadline for the acceptance of its offer to purchase the property, specifically the subject trees. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hazelhurst, Georgia, that number one, FAA regulations require the city to remedy the encroachment of the subject trees described in Exhibit A attached hereto into the flight safety zone. Two, the city determines the amount of just compensation for the condemnation of the property, specifically the subject trees, to be $1,000.74. And three, the city desires to attempt to acquire the subject trees for the purposes stated above by a negotiated purchase if possible. And four, the city therefore hereby makes the offer of $1,500 for the acquisition of the subject trees by purchase rather than condemnation, for which offer is premised upon the economic benefit and safety benefit to the public of an expedited acquisition of the subject trees by purchase rather than by condemnation. And five, the city attorney is directed to transmit this bona fide offer to purchase the subject trees in the amount of $1,500 to the property owner. And nothing in this resolution shall prevent the City of Hazelhurst from commencing condemnation proceedings should the offer to purchase not be accepted in writing by noon on April 6, 2018.
Why are we going that long?
By law, statute.
Okay, reason enough.
And this resolution shall take effect immediately upon its passage.
Gentlemen, you've heard the resolution. We've got a motion made and seconded that we approve the resolution. Any comments in particular? I have one, a little short thing, but anybody got any comments relative to this? Okay, in general, we followed the law. We've got a legitimate licensed forester to go out and appraise the trees. We have worked with him. We've got a value to use in condemnation, and we have the right to go through that process. Instead of going through the legalities of it again, we're going to give him, instead of getting $1,000 in condemnation, you get $1,500, will you please? And we'll present him a check and try to stop this and hand it to him. And if this doesn't work, we're going on condemnation. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
You opposed to it?
Yeah.
Okay. The motion's carried. Mr. Johnson?
So move, let's go home, yeah.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Griffin. All in favor, say aye.
Ah,
Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
So if we didn't want to sell our trees,
John.
and we could have gotten ours condemned, we could have gotten paid for them.
Could you explain that to me?
Yeah, done properly that way. Sounds like it. Well, he's going, is that on?
You got to call it, just if you was getting mad, I think he's gonna just do that.
Are you on, Ms. Rhonda?
I'm on.
Oh, you doing good? Yes, sir. Oh, great. Come on, do something.
think about this, you know, you ain't done that work, then just like that. I do.
You have a PVC glue on them or not?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I apologize. The hour has come and gone. The reason we're late tonight, we recorded our minutes some way, Madam Clerk, you take care of that. Tonight, we, all mayor and council, had a picture with our new ladder truck that arrived, when did it arrive, Monday?
Tuesday.
Tuesday of this week. This is Thursday. So would you note that in the minutes? And that we have a picture available for posterity. I call the meeting to order and ask Mr. Griffin, I'm going to ask you tonight to give an invocation.
Let us pray. Our God and Father in heaven, thank you for this day. Thank you for the many blessings that you've bestowed upon us. We thank you for allowing us to get together to take care of our city business and look down on us, help us to make wise decisions, help us to make prudent decisions. We want to take and ask that you reach down, touch the sick, help the bereaved, and keep us all in your will. All these things we ask in your Son, Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. So will it be. Let's rise and pledge allegiance to the flag of our nation. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Be seated. Do I have any corrections or additions to the agenda? I entertain a motion that we approve the agenda as recorded.
Offer motion.
Mr. Johnson made a motion that you approve the agenda as recorded. Is there a second? Second. Seconded by Mr. Ramey. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The agenda is set. Mr. Griffin, you're on first. We're discussing,
I just want to find out where we're at on it. I said, we talked about it in the work session Monday night. As far as what needed to be done, did you ever get with Natasha and let her see what on the plot, how we needed to do this, or we got any paperwork moving forward with it? Because like I said, we just need to move forward and get this done and over with.
Mr. Griffin, I apologize. I have had my shirt deal in the wind. I haven't done a thing since Monday night on it. I'm sorry.
That's fine, simple enough.
I do have the deeds ready to go, we just gotta insert the legal description.
Okay, well, I said, let's,
I think we're making progress.
all right,
If you'll keep jogging me, I'll see that it gets done.
we'll make sure of that.
All right. Okay. Next is the vote on the school resource officer. Now, as I understand, there's quite a bit of discussion here and there about that. And I think all of the parties are going to be gathering together and working together as a unit to come up with a solution to with all this tragedy that happened down in Florida. All of the school systems, y'all hear it on the news every day now, our children are just coming out in mass, demanding that something be done to protect our school children, and certainly we are all in agreement with that. And I think the school system now, where we've had, and some of you may not know, and perhaps most of you do, Randy Robinson, our police officer, been with the police department for a number of years, and he has been the school resource officer for 20-something years. He's got quite a history in working with children and problems that are at the school system. But at any rate, with everything that's been thrown at me, I suggested that we all, Board of Education, county commissioners, chief, police commissioner, sheriff and his people and everybody sit down together and say, now what are we gonna do in Jeff Davis County and the city of Hazelhurst with our schools and work it out? And I think we're beginning to make some good steps. Mr. Raymond, do you have a report on that?
The committee is already composed and supposed to meet at 4 o'clock at the annex. It will be the first orientation type of meeting. All those people that you said have been contacted. They're supposed to meet and have its first meeting to find out where we can go with a cooperative agreement of being able to take care of our children. I used to tell my high school students when we would go through the drills that the last one that I said it broke my heart every time that we had to do it anymore, where we had to go down through lockdown procedures. Back in the dark ages when I was in high school, that wasn't even thought of. But now we're in a different time in our society, and we've got to be able to take care of our children here in Jeff Davis County. The committee has got all of the components and people together from the school board, the city, the county, and the chief and the sheriff. All are part of this and supposed to meet at 4 o'clock at the annex.
What day?
What,
Monday the 19th, excuse me, I didn't put that out. Saying that, this is a committee that will be making the long-term decisions, and I think just a first of the meetings that we'll have to iron out all of the details that we have to do as a cooperative agreement between the 3 entities. But before that time takes place, we do have the end of school to worry about. Therefore, Mr. Mayor, I move that the city allow the Board of Education to pay the salary of Randy until the end of school, and we cover the
Benefits?
benefits and that.
Is that your complete motion?
That is it.
All right, is there a second to Mr. Ramey's motion?
I second it.
Seconded by Mr. Griffin. Any further discussion? I will say this, that's an improvement of what we've had. We paid salary, benefits, and everything, so the Board of Education is picking up part of the cost now. And another thing, it's quite a motion that we'll handle timely, but this second, are they ready to hire that second officer yet?
No.
They're not ready.
They're not mentioned. That would be discussed in second, third, or fourth, or fifth, whatever is going to be discussed in committee. Of how to and what needs to be done to be able to.
So we don't need to consider any of that today. Just the fact that they want to be able to, I believe, assign him, as I understand it, almost full-time. And I think that's sort of, they're nervous over there. Any further discussion?
I think this is a good step in the right direction and everything else. I mean, we need to do something, and Chief, I had talked to you about this Tuesday, when I talked to you about it. And like I said, I think this is a good solution until we can have a permanent one put in place, because we do not need to make a knee-jerk reaction and everything with it. We need to do the proper thing we need to do to put people in the school to protect our kids. And like I said also too, I mean, there are funds that will be coming available and everything, and the Board of Education will also be getting more funds and everything too later on, when that'll be coming from some of the actual solar fields and everything, so that may be something to help them out too with the salaries that they're looking to pay and everything too.
According to what I can understand, they're gonna be a lot more financially strong in this area of expense than we are by a long shot, so, yeah. Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion's carried. All right, let's move along. Chief Watson?
Yes, sir.
We're ready to approve you. We've discussed this debt, and we asked you that you said you didn't need it tonight. So, gentlemen, you heard the discussion Monday night of the training for the chief at Savannah on April the 7th to the 11th. Entertain a motion that we approve this. Mr. Johnson made a motion that we approve it. Mr. Raymond seconded the motion. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion is carried. Also, the EMAG training in Savannah on April the 24th to 27th is on the agenda as well, and we've discussed that and all are aware of that. Is there a motion for that?
I have a motion.
Mr. Johnson made a motion.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Ramey. Further discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion is carried. Mr. Griffin has got some training at the Robert E. Knox Leadership Training coming up April the 10th and 13th at Pine Mountain. Entertain a motion that we approve that.
So
I have a
moved.
motion.
Mr. Ramey made the motion, and Mr. Johnson seconded. Is there any further discussion?
How many of the other councilmen has not had this Robert Knox training?
You have to have, before you can take the Robert E. Knox leadership training, you have to have 72 hours completed before you can even get into the class.
It's a good one, that's why I was just asking.
Have you had this class, Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Well, good. Well, you ought to, you came in.
We're going through the meat, we're going through the meat now, let's go do it.
So much for that. Y'all, I do like to circle comedy every now and then. I think this is good. Any further discussion relative to Mr. Griffin's training? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion is carried. All right, you got the next one?
Yes, sir. It is a water distribution system disinfection, emergency repairs, and new main installation training in Statesboro, Georgia for Dusty Andrews and for Chris Barnard. It does not cost the city anything. Chris would be able to get 6 CE points for the water. Would Dusty?
No.
Dusty would not. Okay, but this is allowing them travel and meal
Yes.
to go to Statesboro on March
March
the
the
21st.
21st. Yeah, it's a day trip there and back. So all we have is the meals and travel expense for the day. I entertain a motion that we allow these gentlemen to make this trip.
Make a motion.
Mr. Griffin made the motion, I believe Mr. Johnson seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion's carried. All right, number 9. Y'all got that report before you. I entertain, let's see, well,
Date.
huh?
You skip date.
8.
Oh, I'm sorry. What is this now? Oh, the minutes, oh, heck, those things aren't important. You've got, since you sort of slapped me now, I'm gonna swat you back. Ladies and gentlemen, we have before you the minutes of September the 21st, 2017. I entertain a motion that we approve them.
So moved.
Mr. Johnson made a motion that we approve the September 21st, 2017 minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Ramey. Any further discussion?
Where did this come from?
Let me tell you what it is. No, it's
I'm still waiting for February.
I'm gonna let y'all sit in that desk one week.
we have, I'm going to defend her a little bit. Please abbreviate these minutes.
I'm doing that.
You stay there, because I didn't my pen.
Nope.
Please abbreviate this. So you're
I'm getting it.
putting too much into it, my dear.
I'm getting it.
Okay, you heard me. All right, any further discussion? She's doing too good a job, really, trying to detail everything, and we got to abbreviate a little bit. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for the vote. All in favor of approving these minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion is carried. All right, now then, we've got 9, 10, and 11. Y'all look those over and entertain a motion to approve all 3.
I make a motion we approve the water, sewer, garbage, trash report, water and sewer adjustments, and the check register, items 9, 10, and 11.
Is there a second? Second by Mr. Ramey. Any further discussion on these items? I think everybody out there, y'all are familiar with this, I hope. I'll take a minute to try to explain it. Everybody's familiar. Let's go with it. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion's carried. Any citizens' comment tonight? Any comments from the commissioners?
They're making good progress out at the airport. Went out Tuesday and looked at it, and I'm really impressed with it. I mean, I'm talking, there's a lot of dirt out there.
Let me tell you what.
It looks, it's gonna be awesome pretty soon.
I'm so proud of you, John.
I am.
I
There's
just-
possibly asphalt down next week on some of it.
That's great. And like I said, they've come a long way. I hadn't been out there in about 3 weeks, and when I went back, I was sorely surprised, and it was just great. I mean, I was very impressed. They've done some good work.
Thank you for saying that, Eric. I agree with you 100%. And we've had the good fortune of having some surplus good soil right up there close to the hangar hall that we could use for things and projects we might do in advance. And in getting it done, we worked through immediately. We got all of the engineering firm, and they put it, agreed that everything that we were doing, they had to move the dirt anyway, it was in the contract. And the only additional cost, and I want this to emphasize, the only additional cost is some screen that we put around for erosion. And I think they told me it was around $300. So we haven't had any change order, significant change in the amount of the contract. I will say, while we're discussing it, as proud as I am, and I just think it's wonderful, I've had several of the industry people come up to me and tell me what an asset this is going to be to our town and what a potential it has for helping us with growth. We do have a little match that Ms. Bernice and I are beginning to sweat over, but I got a hold of Ms. Sonia today and got her to working. And at some point, we're going to have to pledge our airport splosh that we'll be getting for the next 2 or 3 years to probably finish this project up. But we get an annual payment from FAA, a little under $150,000 every year. And then we got our splosh, that's coming in. So we've got the resources to pay this additional money, but I don't know exactly how y'all are going to help me wiggle to come up with it, but we will. Anything else about the airport?
At our meeting the other day, out at the river, they done a drone flyover, and I asked him, could they fly over the airport and take pictures and all? He said, that's up with us, but it's all paid for, it costs us nothing. EMC, I think, would do it.
Yeah.
And they allow and help the entities with that kind of thing. I said, well, they may want y'all to do that sometime.
I think, can you put that on our webpage, a little video of that?
Probably.
I'm sure that our technical people down there can. It wouldn't hurt for us to get them to fly over that, and I don't think it could be too long, but I believe you could take with my experience with using those with things that I've done already, we could put a little, about 2.5, 3 minute one on there, would give an overview of that thing that we're looking
It
at.
was really
Yeah,
nice.
all right, Mr. Johnson, I'm going to appoint you as chairman of getting that done.
No, I mean,
I know how it feels, that last time I was
changing
there.
everything tonight. It's got to go home. So let's go.
Well, now, wait a minute, we gotta get it done, so.
All right, we'll get it done.
Okay.
If I have to fly with myself.
Get a hold of them, no, really.
I will.
And here's what I would suggest, but my suggestion was now, knowing what I do about our webpage, it needs to be under 3 minutes.
It will.
Under 3 minutes.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
All right.
I'll contact him.
Okay, I think that's great. That's a good move. What else we got, council? Anybody else?
You gotta have an executive session, it's gonna be real brief. We gotta do that.
Natasha?
You have been on me about getting that done, and I got it done, so you gotta go through the process.
Make a motion, Eric.
Make a motion, we go to executive session.
There's a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Johnson. All in favor, say aye.
We're gonna be back in 2 seconds, and we're gonna be back out here.